it takes a lot for me to enter a trade these days. I am really sitting on my hands a lot. I might only see 4 opportunities a day, and maybe only one or two of those will actually get executed.
What's up, traders? Welcome back to Phuket. I'm sitting down today with Jason Sen. What's up, Jason?
Hey.
Pleasure to meet you. It's awesome. And we are at one of your villas here in Phuket. It's awesome. It's pretty hot if we're outside, but I love the heat. It's better than Canada for now.
Honest.
So it's perfect. Near the pool, perfect vibe. So Jason, I want to talk today about your technical analysis process, what you do to look at the market on a daily basis. And we'll talk about how you manage money as well for the people now. Just a pretty big step you took. But for people not knowing you right now that watch you for the first time, tell who you are, what you do, and just a bit of background about yourself.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's nice to meet you because we've known each other for what, 3 years or something.
2-3 years. Yeah.
So it's great. We've talked a lot. Now I get to meet you and welcome you here. Okay. So what do I do? So I've been in financial markets for over 30 years. I started in 1987 when I was 19 years old on the floor of the London Stock Exchange. As an options broker. So I've now progressed to being. I learned technical analysis. Must be 15 years ago, when I stopped trading. I became an options market maker on the live floor, and then when that shut, everything went screen based, and I didn't want to. I stopped trading options about 5 years after the floor shut, and I thought I would trade futures. I thought that would be easy because I was an options trader, and that was completely wrong. Futures were extremely difficult to trade, completely different skill set. So after losing about £30,000 of my own money, I realised I didn't want to lose any more, and I set off to try and educate myself. So I went travelling. I actually came to Asia. I actually came to Phuket, which is one reason why I've ended up here. And I taught myself technical analysis. It took me a long time. It took me many, many years to really understand it, and I think I'm still learning actually. So I've had a technical analysis-based signals service for about 10 years. I started off just servicing banks like Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Deutsche Bank, some of the top banks, Mizuho, Credit Suisse. And then I moved into the retail space about 7-8 years ago. I realised that retail traders was a real big growing market. So I had to change all the language in the reports because I was very much being a trader for 20 years. I just talked in trading language all the time, and so the reports didn't make sense to the general public.
Yeah.
What does this mean? What does that mean? So I had to put it more in English terms. But yeah, it's going really well. We've got a lot of subscribers who follow our signals and my reports every day.
Cool. And you really consistent about like the reports you send and the videos you send to people every day, which is I think awesome. Because we talked about before the fact that there's a few people in the industry doing that, not many, and you're doing it like every day for the last multiple years. That's awesome.
Long time.
That's really good.
Yeah, you've got to be consistent. So there isn't a single day when I don't deliver. Every single day by this time there will be a report. I think that's the key to good business, to be consistent. I mean, I'm not right every day, sure. Of course, I'm not right every day. I'm right I'm right more than I'm wrong, but you'll definitely get the service every morning. I'm up every day.
Awesome. What is the benefit for, say, a bank like Morgan Stanley to get reports on a daily basis? Like, how do they use them?
That's a good question. So I know that my original bank subscribers were mostly option traders. So I think they mainly used them for hedging. So if they had a big position on, they wanted to know where the best level to hedge their position was. What's most likely to be the high for the day. If they're long gamma, and they become long futures on the rally, where should I hedge? So I think that was primarily the reason. As I've got better and the service has improved, I think maybe they take on the trades. And actually, 1 or 2 of my bank subscribers are now investing in my managed account service because they've followed me for so many years. They know that I'm fairly consistent and I do make money over time. So they're investing their own personal money in my service because they either can't trade or they don't have enough time to trade during the day. A lot of regulations don't allow now bank traders, I think, to execute their own orders or have their own personal accounts. I'm not really sure how it works because I've never worked at a bank, but that's what I'm being told. So the managed account service is good for them. They can just open an account and let me trade for them.
That's awesome. So you managed to make banks come to you to give you money to trade, which is pretty awesome.
Well, actually,
That's
the
a pretty
banks
big thing.
themselves don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the traders within the banks
Okay, yeah,
who
still,
receive
okay.
the reports.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty good.
That's awesome.
I
Yeah,
like it.
that's cool. So I want to talk about your whole process for technical analysis, like how you look at the market. We talked about this a few times before, but I feel like people need to hear this. It's like not the one thing, like not like this indicator or this thing or that, or it's like more process, step-by-step things to look at.
Yeah,
So how would
mine's
that
very
work?
simple. Mine's really
Okay,
simple.
So go ahead and explain the
There's
whole
nothing
structure.
clever.
Okay.
Okay, so really I use trend lines,
Uh-huh.
moving averages. I use Fibonacci a lot. Obviously, I look at the price action. I've learned the candlestick formations and candlestick patterns. I do have slow stochastic at the bottom of my chart, which I just keep an eye on. I prefer that to the RSI. I've started using Bollinger Bands. I used to use them, then I stopped using them. I think it was because markets started to trend, in one direction rather than sideways. And then more recently, markets have been going sideways so much, I thought, I better put these Bollinger Bands back on. So for me personally, they work well in sideways trending markets, which unfortunately we have now, and it's very difficult to trade.
Yeah.
But okay, so otherwise, I look at 4 different time frames. So I look at the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour charts. I put my trend lines on there. I put my Fibonacci levels on there. I've got I need a one-size-fits-all kind of structure because I cover about 20 markets for my clients. So I'm covering Forex, I'm covering commodities, stock indices, and fixed income markets. So I can't tailor make each sort of moving average, if you like, to each individual market. I really need something that fits all. So it's very broad. I use the 55-day moving average, 100, the 200, and the 500. So I use those period moving averages on all of those time frames that I just mentioned. They work quite well as support and resistance levels. I look for moving average crossovers and that kind of thing. Yeah, and as I say, just trend lines on all of those charts, Fibonacci. That's it. Bollinger Bands. And when I just look, as everyone does, I just look for areas of confluence.
Okay.
So if things are lining up across 3 or 4 different time frames and they're all showing a resistance area, I'm like, that's got to be worth a go.
Okay. It's like a step-by-step process of like the zones first and then the MA after, or then the Bollinger Band after, or is it like all at once included?
The MAs are obviously already on the chart.
Uh-huh.
I'll put the trend lines on. They need to be changed more than anything else for obvious reasons. And the Fibonacci levels, the moving averages are already on there anyway. I'll keep an eye on the stochastic. If I'm looking to sell something, then I'd like to see it overbought in at least 2 time frames on the stochastic. It just gives me a bit of extra confidence to enter the trade. And then I also look for levels just about, so for example, if I'm trying to sell something, I'll look for a good level. I look for price levels in order to put my stop just above there. I won't just randomly put a 30 pip stop or something on every order. I'm figuring out where I should have my stop rather than a monetary stop, if you like.
And that's a different thing too. So you said that you are trading the forward chart, daily chart, and weekly chart.
Yeah.
With a 30 to 40 pip stop loss, right?
Yeah.
So
These days, my stop loss could be 20-25 pips. It's I'm bringing it in, and I'm quick to. If the level holds, I'm quite quick to take that 25 pip stop down to a 15 pip stop when I feel comfortable.
Okay. So in my mind, that's like really tight because my stop loss are much bigger on these time frame.
Right.
Close to like 100 pips, 150 pips.
Sure.
So how do you look at your stop loss? Is it like a different thing than I do probably? Because I look at like the highs and the lows, but you have a different way.
So you're probably running your trades for obviously for days.
Yeah.
Mine's more. Well, mine I will run overnight, but I'm very short term. It takes a lot for me to enter a trade these days. I am really sitting on my hands a lot. I might only see 3, 4 opportunities a day, and maybe only one or two of those will actually get executed. So I'm really sitting on my hands a lot. If I won't just do a trade based on one trend line, there has to be a lot more to it. There has to be some, Fibonacci support, some moving average support with it. I need to see at least 3 things at one level to give me the confidence for it to hold. So my success rate is quite high in that most of my trades are winners, but I don't do that many trades.
And your stop loss is based on a level?
Sorry, that was your question. Yeah, my stop loss is based on, so if I see, let's say trend line moving average lining up nicely, and I think that's a good support level. We're in a bull trend, it's looking oversold, I'm going to try that one. then I will go back over. I'll mostly go over the price action to see where was the last spike lower, where I should have my stop below there, or maybe on a short time frame there's a minor support level just below it. So I'll figure, well, if that minor support level is broken on the hourly chart, I'll consider that this more important level on the daily chart is no longer valid, and I'll be out.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. It's all fairly simple. There's nothing clever that I'm doing.
Yeah. But I guess it's like getting these different ideas from different people where you can like improve your own style as well. So how did you personally learn this? Was it yourself trying things out? Because I know like people watching this want to learn, or they want to find like the way that's going to work for them.
Yeah.
So should they do everything by themselves, you think, or should they learn from different people how to do things?
I would definitely do a course. I would definitely learn from someone who knows what they're doing. It's a shortcut. You can definitely learn yourself. But firstly, learning technical analysis is just a question of experience, like most things in life. But if you get someone who knows what they're doing, then obviously you can learn much more quickly. So I definitely recommend, and these days books, there's so much free stuff out there. I mean, I know that you've got tons of free stuff, so I would certainly start by watching a lot of your videos. People can learn from that. If they want to progress further, there's so many books and courses out there that people can do for not much money. So, but then after that, really it does come down to experience. I think it's like driving a car. When you first learn to drive a car, it's so complicated. There's so many things to watch. Your eyes are all over the road. But as you days, weeks, months, and years, it's second nature. You don't even think about what you're doing. And eventually, technical analysis. I'm not saying you don't think about what you're doing, but you spot things and you think it's almost subconscious. Your brain is telling you, I've seen that before, and I'm pretty sure that this is a good opportunity. So experience counts for everything. So really just spend as many hours as you can going through as many charts as you can, looking at setups and just practicing them, and not even necessarily with real money, but it's really just time. Because there's nothing difficult about technical analysis. It's not rocket science. It really is just putting the hours in, and even if you just learn one setup that is consistently reliable, 60-70% of the time this setup works, and then spend the rest of the time just trawling through as many markets as you can to find the setup. It's really just a time thing. You're just trying to give yourself an edge.
Nice. Did you ever time yourself in trading where you kind of felt like you wanted to give up or like not continue trading? And how did that turn out? How did you overcome that?
I just stopped trading for a while.
Okay.
I mean, I've lost so much money. I've obviously made money as well, but there's periods of time when I have lost lots of money. Everyone does. So you just stop trading. And there were times when I was too busy to trade. So as you know, I've been building these houses. So for trading, you need to either trade or not trade. I think it's difficult to do it part-time. I mean, if you've got a job and I'm not saying you can't trade part-time. If you've got a job which allows you to look at the market every 30 minutes, or you can adapt a style around what your time allowances are. But I when I was full-time building these houses, I just couldn't focus on financial markets. So I'd get up, I'd write my reports, but there's no way I could have monitored trades throughout the day. So I was punting. I wasn't trading, I was punting. There's a big difference between trading and gambling. Gambling is when you put a trade on, you risk way more than you should, 5-10% on the trade. It either goes right or wrong. If you win, maybe you're winning 10, you make 10-20%. If you lose, you've lost 5 or 10%. The trouble is you get 3-4 of those in a row, losers, and you're down 40-50% in your account. That's gambling, and you're trying to swing the bat to make a big sum of money. Trading is when you sit there and you risk 1%, you make 1.5%, 2%, and you just keep doing it, and you're focused. And you might have 2 or 3 trades on at the same time because you understand the risk reward on those trades. You're not just swinging the bat on one trade. So when I swing the bat, that doesn't work. When I sit and I just trade, then that tends to work.
I found that to be true as well. Like when I do my reviews every morning and I sit and do it properly, I trade better. Or like I tend to take the best trades.
Right.
But if I just sit and kind of look quickly and I forget something, then I take bad trades.
Right. You can't.
So
You kind of used to be able to, because it was when markets were volatile and moving, 10-20 years ago. Then you could have a little punt every now and then because you knew there'd be enough volatility and enough opportunities to make it back. But these days, the opportunities, as far as I can see, are few and far between. Unless you're a scalper, and I'm not a scalper. And you're sitting there and you're scalping a level and you're taking 10 pips and taking 10 pips. But that's not my style. So
awesome. So that's the next thing. So you are building houses here, condos, apartments. And so, how do you manage trading with that? Have you found a way? Did you have to adapt your trading to doing multiple things with it, or was it just a natural thing, or
I just stopped
kind
trading.
of click together?
I just couldn't trade.
Okay.
I'm not clever enough to do too many things at once.
Okay.
I'm not a multitasker, and I'm not a builder, and I'm not an interior designer. I'm not an architect. So I was crazy to take this project on, absolutely insane. But I managed to, just because I got some help from the right people, I managed to make it work. So I'm really happy that I did it. It's great passive income now. But while I was doing that, there's no way I could have traded. So I was continuing to run my subscription service, and that was working fine. So I get up in at 6, I work till 9, I run all my charts, I produce my reports. I don't think that any of my subscribers noticed any interruption to the service. But after that, forget about it. I could not look at financial markets all day long while supervising construction of 7 villas.
It's kind of like taking a break to focus on something different and coming back trading after.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And probably you're probably right, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe the break was good.
Yeah.
I think my trading is better now. So it helps when you don't need the money.
Oh yeah.
When you need to make trading pay and the pressure's on, you think, I've got to make £1,000, before the end of the month or something. I've got rent to pay. That's when you're up against when your back's against the wall. That's tough. Mm-hmm. So now I'm in a luxurious position of not needing to trade for money, and for some reason that seems to just make life so much easier. And my trading is probably better than it's ever been.
Awesome.
Because I don't, as I say, I may do only 1 or 2 trades a day. Some days I may not even trade at all. And when you don't have the pressure to make the money, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing I'm really curious about is the fact that you started to manage money for people now. You have managed accounts.
Yeah.
So when did that start? And how does that work so far?
Okay, so I started at the end of last year. I've been asked to manage accounts for a long time. Most of my subscribers give up because they don't have the time to trade. This is always what I'm getting. I don't have the time to trade. So they're always asking me, can you execute the trades that you send to us? Can you execute for me? And sometimes people, they're indisciplined. They don't put the stop loss in the right place and whatever. So they would rather I did it for them. But as I say before, I just didn't have the chance to do that. So at the end of last year, I started setting things up, and my subscribers started investing in me, and starting to work now. And I'm starting to enjoy it too. I didn't think I would. I thought I'd be tied to the computer, and I didn't want the responsibility. But actually, I'm starting to enjoy it. Yeah, it's good. I just make, if I can just make 2-3% a week, just doing 2 or 3 trades, then I'm happy.
How's the feeling? Is it more like you feel like it's more a job, or do you feel more pressure to perform because you manage money for other people?
Good question. I don't feel like it's a job because I have to do the analysis for the subscribers in the morning anyway. So I have to do that. So that's my job. Entering 2 or 3 orders after I've done that obviously just takes minutes. I'm very disciplined. I've always got a stop. I've always got a target. I trail the stop before I go to bed if I'm running a position overnight. So that the actual trading part of it is simple because the analysis is the difficult bit. Finding the trade, trading is literally just inputting the trades on the computer. Any idiot can do that. I've already done the work for that in the analysis, and the analysis I actually enjoy. So actually, it's pretty simple. Obviously I do feel a responsibility to my investors, but as long as I'm being disciplined, and doing everything properly, they don't mind when I have a losing patch, because they can see, hey, he's structuring the trades properly. He's got his stop in. Okay, the trade didn't work. We know that, sooner or later he'll have a winning trade and he'll get it all back. So they don't bother me. They leave me alone, and I think, so far the results are starting to work.
And I think one thing we're seeing is the fact that you kind of need to be ready to manage money. Like you cannot do it like too early or like wait. I guess waiting too long is better than too early,
Definitely.
Of course. But how did you go about it? What were the steps you took to start to manage money?
So, well, really, it was just a case of listening to, people who wanted me to do it. But you've got to be in the right frame of mind. And yes, you do have to have the time, really, because it is a responsibility.
Yeah.
Like I say, you can't just put on random trades like I was sometimes doing with my own money. They weren't properly thought out. They weren't properly structured. A bit of a punt. Oh, this has gone up a lot. There's a bit of resistance up there. I'll give it a go. You can't do that. You've really, really got to cherry pick the right trades. So you have to be in the right frame of mind for that. And I think I am in the right frame of mind, like I said to you, because I've completed all my other jobs. And now that I'm not spending all my income from my subscription service on building houses, I've got a good income and I don't need to make money
Yeah.
and that really puts you in the right frame of mind. You can sit there and not trade for 2 days if necessary, and you know that eventually your trade will come along and you'll make a couple of percent and you're done for the week. Yeah. So.
And how did you work out the structure of you getting paid from these managed accounts?
I just ask for 25% of the profit.
Okay.
There's no management fee. So people, it's pretty simple. People open an account with one of the 2 brokers that I work with. Their account comes under the managed account, and it's all fairly simple.
Okay.
Yeah, these days it's so easy to manage money.
Yeah. And I feel like this is better than like having a management fee like some people do, because like you feel they maybe feel like you have to perform more, or you don't get paid for not performing at all. So that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. There's no pressure on me. There's no financial pressure on me to perform.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking I need to make these guys money so they pay me so I can pay the rent.
What would you recommend to people that want to open an account and manage money for people? Would you recommend them kind of maybe put a PDF together to tell people what they do and what their strategy is, or just kind of try to gather a client over time? Maybe start to kind of meet people, and later when they're ready to manage money, then...
Okay, so you're talking about traders who want to manage money for other people.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a slight advantage in the fact that I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've been on Twitter for 7 or 8 years, so I've got a lot of track record. I've got a lot of subscribers, both present and past subscribers. So for me, it's a relatively simple exercise to market it. I just have to let my database know that this is a service that I'm now doing. So I haven't had too much trouble in getting a decent number of people, and I haven't actively marketed it. In fact, I'm not even advertising it at the moment because I just want to build a track record and keep going with that. If you haven't got such a record, then what I would suggest is you put a small amount of money into a trading account. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of money, but put it into a real trading account and just build a track record. It only has to be 3 months. It doesn't have to be fantastic sums of money either. Like I say, if you can return 4 or 5% per month, not even that much, 3-4% a month. Yeah. Trading low risk with small drawdowns, and you can prove that you can do that over a 3-month period, then you can start to go to talk to people and they'll take you seriously. Maybe they'll stick a small amount of money in themselves, maybe they'll stick $2,000 or $3,000 in to test you, and if you don't obliterate that too quickly and you show that you can just make it grow slowly, then they'll be happy.
I think the point is to start slow and then increase over time. So
Exactly.
Get more money from the same people or outside money.
Exactly.
When you start to get some data that you trade for other people as well,
Exactly.
other people are going to trust you more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the people that have invested in me now have just put small sums of money in, $5,000, $10,000. Well, I know it's small to them. And if they're happy after 2 or 3 months, then they've told me they'll put significantly more in. So I'm happy to just sit and wait. I'm not in a hurry.
Yeah.
And the market conditions as we speak today are pretty... They're not throwing up a lot of opportunities. The markets are really trading sideways, and some markets are... Well, some of these markets are actually sitting in 70 pip ranges for the whole week.
Yeah.
I used to expect that in a day. So we've all got to be patient.
For sure. Are there any mistakes you made in your trading career that you feel you would have preferred to do differently when you look back today?
Yeah, I've made every single mistake in the book.
So what are some that people could avoid by just listening to you, telling them what you did wrong?
Okay, firstly, I think the absolute number one rule is don't trade too big. So if you've got $1,000 in your account, do not risk more than $10 or $20 per trade. I know that might sound small and people want to double that $1,000 every month or two. It's just not going to happen. And not to start with anyway. So you have to be realistic. I mean, my general rule is risk 1% per trade. And then if you lose, you will have losing streaks. If you lose 7 or 8 trades in a row, you're only going to lose 7 or 8%. It's not going to be the end of the world. You'll still be able to sleep. You can't trade if you lose all your money. So you've got capital preservation is absolutely everything. So the reason I only risk 1% is because if I lose, like I say, a few times in a row, I don't care. It's not that I don't care. I can live with it. I can sleep at night. I'm not worried. I'm not monitoring my trades throughout the night when I have them on. I've got my stop loss in place. I know my maximum loss. I know I'm happy with the trade. I find that when I'm worrying about the trade, when I'm looking at the market all the time, it doesn't mean necessarily that I'm in the wrong trade. It means I'm in the trade too big.
Yeah.
I'm worried about losing. So absolutely, you've got to keep your risk to 1 or maybe 2% if you feel confident in your trading. And you always have, the only way you can stick to risking 1 or 2% per trade is by having a stop loss. So you must always have the stop loss in place to make sure that you only ever lose that sum of money. And then if you lose, fine, your head's still clear, you're not in a panic, and you can move on to the next trade. And you can trust yourself to put on the next trade. So I don't always have my target in. If I think there is scope for a decent move, I won't always put a target in. I'll trail my stop, and then I'll keep an eye on the charts. I'll look at the short-term charts just to see if they're telling me something that tells me that I should get out of the position now. So that would be my number one rule for sure.
Cool. How do you decide if you have to trail your stop or have a fixed stop loss?
That's a tricky one.
That's something I've never really tried, because I always use one rule.
Yeah. So what will you do?
I used to basically trail my stop loss before to
Right.
break even when the move would happen
Okay.
a little bit, but then I would get stopped out too
Right.
often. at break even.
Right.
So I
This is a
stopped doing
problem
it,
that I've had.
and so that's why now I'm not doing it at all.
Right.
But maybe there's a way to kind of find when to do it, when to not do it.
Right.
Could be helpful. So
This is a real difficult one,
Yeah.
because I think really you have to take it on a trade by trade basis. Someone in fact asked me the other day, what rule do you have for trailing stops? I don't have a rule. Okay, I don't trail them too aggressively. I know a lot of people like to do what you said and trail to break even as quickly as possible, but I think too often you get stopped out just before the move.
yeah.
If that level was good enough to get into, let's say this was a buy level, that buy level can get tested 2 or 3 times, after you've entered the trade.
Yeah.
So why would you get out of that level? If that's your buy level, why would you stop out of that level? It doesn't make sense to me. So I don't trail my stop too quickly. I'll let's say I use a 25 pip stop. I usually use a stop that's bigger than it absolutely needs to be, but I've been stopped out too many times on a spike that catches you, and then the market goes in the direction that you expect it to. So let's say I've got a 25 pip stop that really only needs to be 15 pips. What I'll do is I'll trail that quite quickly to 15 pips, and then that automatically brings my 1% risk down to maybe 0.7%. But I'll hold that there for quite a long time. The market will have to move a lot in my expected direction before I'll start trailing that up to the break even. I'll need to feel that the market has really cleared that support level before I'll trail it up.
And this is probably a feeling you get from experience too, from many years looking at the chart and looking at the trades.
I really think it is. Yeah. Experience does count for everything.
Awesome. Powerful. So guys, Jason told me we'll do a webinar for you guys. We'll put a link below for that. He's going to teach you a bunch of tricks about technical analysis and things he does on a daily basis. So if you want to sign up for this, it's going to be in a few days. Check out the link below. Click this, sign up, and you'll be getting a lot of value from him. And Jason, I want to ask you any last word of advice you want to give people before we finish off?
Apart from subscribe to my service. Really, just spend as much time as you can on your charts. Learning, drawing lines, seeing which trend lines work and how things line up, finding areas of confluence. It's really just experience that gives you the confidence to enter a trade, and risk management is everything. Managing the risk on the trade, but also managing your account so you don't blow a big hole in the account, you don't risk too much, and you're always in a clear frame of mind, even after a losing period, to be able to trade, to enter trades. And if you find you're not sleeping at night and if you're worrying about trades, you are trading too big.
Awesome. So where can people find you or connect with you or reach out after this podcast or interview?
Okay, so my website is daytradeideas.co.uk. On there you will find the subscriptions that we offer. So for example, if you want to subscribe to the Euro US dollar, you'll get a report every morning with the best scalping levels, trading levels, and swing trade ideas that I have. The premium subscription gives people all of the important reports that I do, written reports, plus a spreadsheet of the best trades that I have for the day, the ones that I'll actually be executing, and a summary of everything that happened yesterday and what I think will happen today. And also there'll be a video, so I explain in the video my best trade ideas, where I would put the stop, where I would put the target, and why. So it's not only something that should make you money, but it's also educational. You can really learn daily about my techniques. For those who only want the video, there's a cheaper subscription where you just get the video. I need to add my managed account service on the website, which I haven't done yet. But if anyone is interested in the managed account service, they just go to the website, fill in the contact form, and I'll get back to them with all the details.
Awesome, perfect.
Thank you.
And you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, and everywhere also?
I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. And
perfect.
my name is Jason Sen, S-E-N. You can Google me, I'm everywhere.
Perfect. Thank you, Jason. I
Hey,
appreciate it.
thanks very
And
much.
if you guys want to get some cool tricks from Jason, check out the link below for the webinar we'll be doing in a few days after this is going live. And it's going to teach some awesome tricks, for sure I know. And we'll catch you guys there. Ciao.